Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at standard 7.G.B.4. Know the formulas for the area and circumference of a circle and use them to solve problems. Give an informal derivation of the relationship between the circumference and area of a circle. Our vocabulary: a circle is a round shape with points equidistant from the center. The radius is that center, and it refers to the distance from the center outwards. The diameter goes straight across the circle through the center, and the circumference is the distance around the circle. So the radius is from the center of the circle to any point on the outside of the circle. The diameter goes all the way through that center from one side of the circle through to the other, and the circumference refers to the outside, so the distance around a circle. Okay, when we talk about other shapes, we call that perimeter. The formula for finding the circumference is either C, circumference equals 2 pi r, and we can use 3.14 to refer to pi, or C equals pi d. So the diameter is twice the radius, so it's this plus this would equal to the diameter, and that's the reason why we have 2r, and that can also be referred to as just d, the diameter. So 2r is equal to d, okay? Twice the radius is equal to the diameter. Let's take a look at our first example. The radius of a circle is 3 millimeters. What is the circle's circumference? So we're going to do this using both formulas. So let's go C equals 2 pi r. And then we're also going to use C equals pi d. So this is just to verify that both of these formulas will give you the same answer. So C equals 2, and we're going to use 3.14 for pi. Some of you may have the pi button on your calculator that you can also use. Okay, so C equals, and we're going to put 3.14. Now, if the radius is 3, what is the diameter? The diameter is twice the radius, so we would have to add 3 more, and that would give us a diameter of 6. Remember your rules for multiplying decimals. 2 times 3.14 is 6.28, and then we're going to multiply that by 3. 6.28 times 3 is equal to 18.84. So here the circumference of this circle with a radius of 3 millimeters is 18.84 millimeter. Now let's evaluate 3.14 times 6. 3.14 times 6 is equal to 18.84, which confirms that if you use either of these formulas, you will get the same answer. Let's take a look at our next example. The radius of a circle is 19 yards. What is the circle's circumference? Here you can choose to use whichever formula you're most comfortable with. I'm going to use C equals 2 pi r for this example. So let's go ahead and substitute. And again, we're using 3.14 to represent pi. 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. And then we're going to multiply that by 19. Again, remember your rules for multiplying decimals. So 6.28 times 19 is equal to 119.32. So the circumference is 119.32 yards. The diameter of a circle is 19 miles. Find the circumference. So for this example, we're going to use C equals pi d because we already know the diameter. If you wanted to use C equals 2 pi r, so let's go ahead and substitute in our values. So for pi, we're going to use 3.14, and for the diameter is 16. So again, if we wanted to know the radius for this one, We would just have to divide the diameter by 2, and that would give us that the radius is 8. So if I multiply 3.14 times 16, I get that the circumference is 50.24 miles. Here we're given two examples where we are given the circumference and we're asked to either find the diameter or the radius. We're going to use our same formulas but work backwards. So the first example is asking about the diameter. So we're going to use C equals pi d. So we're going to convert our pi to 3.14. We're going to bring down the d because that's what we're trying to find, and then we're going to plug in 78.5 for the circumference. Now I can rewrite this without the parentheses. That gives me 3.14d is equal to 78.5. An inverse operation, so if they're next to each other this way, it's multiplication. The inverse would be to divide both sides by 3.14, and that will give me the value of my diameter. 78.5 divided by 3.14 is equal to 25. So here my diameter is 25. Now, if I wanted to find my radius, I would just need to divide my diameter by 2 and find that my radius is 12.5. And the units for this problem would be inches. Okay, let's take a look at the next example. Find the radius of a circle whose circumference is 62.8 feet. So here I'm going to use C equals 2 pi r. If you're comfortable with C equals pi d, then go for it. Just remember to divide at the end so that you have the radius. Let's go ahead and plug in. So the number 2 pi is 3.14, and we're trying to find the r, and we're going to substitute 62.8 for C. Now let's go ahead and multiply. This gives us 6.28 r, and then we have 62.8. Inverse operation is to divide both sides by 6.28, and we find that our radius is equal to 10 feet. Now, if we wanted to find the diameter, we would multiply the radius by 2, so the diameter would be 20 feet. Thank you for watching and have a great day.